We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
Good morning, George. Clayton Sandell here in Denver following breaking news out of Utah. A magnitude 5.7 earthquake hitting just after 7 a.m. local time, about 10 miles west of Salt Lake City. There are reports of damage to homes and buildings, including a homeless shelter in downtown Salt Lake, a brick facade falling to the ground, but no reports of any injuries. About 35,000 customers are without power, and the airport is currently shut down and evacuated while authorities make sure everything is safe. For now, it seems there is no major damage, but authorities will be checking throughout the day, and officials warn there could be more aftershocks. Robin?
Thank you very much.
A powerful earthquake struck north of the Croatian capital Zagreb on Sunday, causing some buildings to collapse and leaving at least one teenager critically injured. Prime Minister Andrej Plenković said the 5.3 magnitude quake was the biggest to hit Zagreb in 140 years. It caused several fires and blackouts in parts of the city and sent people running onto the streets. Plenković said all citizens should remain outside their homes amid potential aftershocks, but also appealed for people to keep social distances from each other as the country struggles to contain the spread of coronavirus. So far, Croatia has 206 reported cases of COVID-19 and 1 death. Health authorities said a 15-year-old was in a critical condition after being found by emergency services in the rubble of a collapsed building. Another minor was admitted to hospital with head injuries from a falling roof. The Zagreb Fire Department said rescue operations were ongoing at several locations, and the army has been called in to help clean up debris.
Canada became the first nation to pull out of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Team Canada tweeted the announcement on Sunday. Australia's Olympic Committee then followed suit on Monday, saying it would also be pulling out of the Games. The International Olympic Committee said it would spend the next 4 weeks deciding what the best option is for the 2020 Games.
I think what everybody clearly is looking for now is certainty. Some people have spoken about postponing until October, November. But I don't think that's really going to solve the problem because athletes will still have difficulty with training, all of the planning and the logistics. So I think increasingly it's looking that you should be postponing, 15 or 1 year to around the same dates in the summer of 2021.
We're going to get hit. There's no doubt about it. We see it in New York. New York is terribly suffering.
New York State had registered more than 15,000 cases of coronavirus, which is more than half of the total confirmed so far across the United States. The delivery of new ventilators, face masks, and other personal protective equipment is being prioritized for the state. Nearly a third of the American population has been told to stay at home. Ohio, Louisiana, and Delaware are the most recent of the states to enact restrictions because of the pandemic. There are more than 35,000 cases of COVID-19 in the U.S. Despite all of the advice and restrictions put in place to help fight the spread of COVID-19, hordes of young people still partied on during spring break. And now, 5 students from the University of Tampa who traveled together have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The school confirmed they traveled during spring break with other students from the school. The death toll in Turkey from the coronavirus went up by 9 to 30 on Monday, and more than 1,200 people have confirmed cases. The outbreak there started 2 weeks ago, and the country has since put in measures to try to curb the pandemic, like limiting the use of public spaces. Greek police rode on Monday to enforce a lockdown announced by the government to help fight the spread of the virus. Vehicles were stopped and checked for permits people now must carry with them to justify why they're moving. The only people allowed on the streets are those going to work, shopping for food or medicine, exercising, walking a pet, or visiting a doctor.
Overseas and here at home. Let's go first to breaking news out of the UK, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson has just moments ago announced the country will go into a complete lockdown. Nine's Europe correspondent Sophie Walsh is in London. Sophie, just take us through these very drastic measures.
They are drastic. Boris Johnson has just ordered all of us to stay inside for at least the next 3 weeks. He's also given police the powers to fine people who disobey these orders. But there is a long list of do's and don'ts. I'll try and get through them. Gatherings of more than 2 people have now been banned across the UK. People will only be allowed to leave their homes for shopping for basic necessities like food, and even those trips are being told must be limited. People will only be allowed outside for one form of exercise each day. You can also leave your home for any medical need and also to travel to and from work, but only when absolutely necessary and when that work can't be done at home. The Prime Minister also ordered people not to meet with friends or family members unless they live under the same roof. He also urged people to use food delivery services when they can.
You should not be meeting friends. If your friends ask you to meet, you should say no. You should not be meeting family members who do not live in your home. If you don't follow the rules, the police will have the powers to enforce them.
I'm Cassie Carlisle.
Working very hard.
The president activated the National Guard Sunday, deploying troops to help in California, New York, and Washington state. Those states hit hardest by COVID-19. The president also announced the USNS Mercy, stationed in San Diego, will deploy to Los Angeles to help with an anticipated shortage of hospital beds. FEMA says the hospital ship will arrive within a week.
I've also directed FEMA to supply the following: 4 large federal medical stations with 1,000 beds for New York, 8 large federal medical stations with 2,000 beds for California, and 3 large federal medical stations and 4 small federal medical stations with 1,000 beds for the state of Washington.
FEMA states California's need for hospital beds is 5 times more than Washington. Cassie Carlisle, 10 News.
And just within the last 15 minutes, the Navy says the USNS Mercy will leave San Diego tomorrow. The Mercy will not treat COVID-19 patients. Instead, it will take other patients to free up beds at shore-based hospitals. You can count on ABC 10 News to be there tomorrow when the Mercy departs Naval Station San Diego.